So today what we are going to discuss is little bit about things like platform independent. Okay. So one of the Java feature. Okay. Java feature. One of the Java features are platform independent. Java features means Java. What is the Java and what is the difference between like what is the benefits if you compare with other languages. We have so many languages we have discussed, right? We have structure oriented languages, object oriented languages, as well as aspect oriented languages, correct? So among them there are so many languages again. So if you take that three classifications, one of the classification, if I take structure oriented languages, there are C, C++, C, basic, Fortran, COBOL, Pascal. These languages and all what related to structure oriented languages. Okay. Object oriented languages are something like C++, Java, .NET, right, JavaScript. All these languages are come under as object oriented languages. Like that, there are if I take classifications, right? There are so many classifications. Under them, there are so many languages are there. Okay. So in that Java features, when compared with these languages and Java, what are the features we need to understand? Okay. Most important feature is platform independent. Platform independent. So if everybody something like if I ask why Java, why not C language? Why you are building your application in Java? So first answer they will tell you Java is a platform independent. That's what I choose Java. Java is a platform independent. That's what it is popular, most popular, like that. So that's what I wanted to highlight. This platform independent. What is the meaning of platform independent? Okay, why how the Java achieve this platform independent technique? So what I'm this is the first thing what we need to understand, because most important feature of Java is platform independent. So how actually Java achieved this platform independent and what is platform and all we are going to discuss today. Okay. So platform is nothing but operating system. Operating system is nothing but, you know, right? We have Windows, we have DOS, we have Linux, we have CentOS, Mac. So many operating systems are there. Computer always will come with operating system. Without operating system, I cannot use computer. That means I cannot access any of the hardware or software, whatever. If I wanted to access or use any of the hardware or software, I should be having operating system. That's what we know, all that one, right? So that is nothing but platform. So platform is nothing but operating system. First question you understood, right? Next thing is, what is the meaning of independent? Independent means what? Independent means, for example, in my system, I have created one program using language like C language. I have developed one program, okay, using C language. You understood, right? So I have created one program using C language and using my computer, in my computer, and my computer is having Windows operating system, right? So I took that program and I go to another computer and I'm trying to run there, I'm trying to execute there. Okay, but that computer is having Linux operating system. I have two computers. First computer is having Windows operating system. Second computer I'm having Linux operating system. Okay, I have created one program using C language in Windows operating system. I'm taken that program, went to another computer and executed there. Will that be execute there? Is the question. Okay, so that is not going to execute there. You understood now? Why it is not going to execute? Because C language is not platform independent. That means C language is actual programs are built based on the operating system where you are actually developing it. So that means if I develop my C language program in Windows, that only works with Windows only. If another computer is also having Windows, then it work. If another computer is having CentOS, then it won't work. You understood, right? If it is a Linux, that won't work. So that is what is nothing but platform independent. Yeah, Java means you don't want to do that. So if you write a program in Java, irrespective of any of the operating system, that will execute. You develop one program in Java in one of the system. Okay, it doesn't matter whether it's a Windows or Linux or CentOS or Mac, whatever. You take that program and put it there anywhere, that will work. That is what is called platform independent. Okay, how it is achieved is the question. How Java has been achieved platform independent. That is where you wanted to understand one thing. Actually, no language is platform independent. Please note down this statement. No language in the world platform independent. You are understanding na? So actually there is no language platform independent. Java is not platform independent. Again, I already told you, right? Java is platform independent. I told you again. I'm telling you, Java is not platform independent again. So you need to understand this thing. There is a contradictory in my sentences. First, I told you Java first feature is platform independent. Again, I told you no language is platform independent. No language means Java also one of the computer language. That is also not platform independent. But how they achieved it? Okay. So you need to understand this thing. So while you are installing C language, if you actually install C language, generally what you do, you actually taken the C language and write the program, okay, and you run the program. You if you want another computer also, you download the C language and running the same program, right? So if it is if you are having a source code, it doesn't matter. Source code you copy anywhere, it work, because C language, while you are installing, you choose the operating system there, right? So while installing, you have to choose the operating system. For example, I wanted to download and install any of the software. It will show you operating systems, right? Which operating system software you want. Windows means you download Windows based installation only. Correct. If it is Java, also the same thing. If you wanted to download Java JDK, if it is Windows JDK only you are downloading. If it is Mac OS, then Mac OS only you should download it. You are not downloading something like Windows OS in Mac, it won't work. You're getting. So in that case, there is no language which is platform independent. Each and every language has been built specific to the OS only. If it is Windows OS means Windows OS only you have to select while you are downloading and installing JDK. So I told you na, in the official website also, you go and look there. The JDK download means it will ask you which Windows, 64-bit or 32-bit. Linux means which Linux, is it CentOS or it is Mac system. Separately, they will give you the installation things, right? Why they are giving? If it is platform independent, they should not give. Na, everything should be one installation, right? So how that is achieved, I'm going to tell you now. Okay. So there is JRE. I told you now. While you are actually, I already told you JRE is a Java runtime environment, correct? So there is a engine called JRE. This is JRE. Okay. JRE means Java runtime environment, correct? So your program you written in JDK. Okay. So what you do, once your JDK, you written JDK program written in JDK, then there is a compilers, right? So there are you have to give this Java program to a compiler, Java compiler, which is called Java C compiler, Java C. So what you have to do, first you write a program in JDK and give it to the Java C compiler, and Java C compiler is going to give you, okay, file like generally JDK means what? It's a .java file. Your source code files will be a .java file. Okay, once you given to the compiler, then what is going to do? This is going to give you .class file. Okay, so the Java C compiler will give you .class file. Okay, so this .class file you take, and this is the executable for Java. Executable files are class files only. For Java, which are the executable files? Which programs actually where the program will execute? In the class file only, not in the Java source code. You understood, na? Always Java source code has to compile first, then only it should execute. So while once you compile, what happening? It is translating. I told you yesterday, right? How the translation and all happening. So from the high level language to machine level language translations and all will happen. Now, like that, Java compiler, it is not going to give you the machine level language, but it is given you the dot class files. So once you compile it, it will give you the dot class file, which is called bytecode files. It is only understandable by Java runtime environment. Okay, it is bytecode, not like binary code. It is bytecode. It's a proprietary code which is Java only built it actually. Okay, so the bytecode files will be understandable by the JRE. End of the day, you wanted to execute the program means this bytecode file you have to give it to JRE, and JRE will execute it. JRE will execute it. JRE is a Java runtime environment. Now, this JRE is anything. JRE can be Windows JRE, it can be Mac JRE, or it can be Linux JRE. Doesn't matter, because bytecode is understood by any of the JREs. The JRE which you installed in your Mac system, which is understandable your byte. So your bytecode has been built using in the Windows operating system. For example, your code has been built in Windows operating system. Your compiler is there in Windows, okay, and bytecode has been generated. That means dot class file has been generated. You taken that dot class file into one more system which is having your Mac system. Okay, okay, you are trying to run there. Will that execute? It will execute because the JRE is in Mac. The Mac system JRE you are installed already here. So like that, so since the JRE Java runtime environment engine is available in each and every system, and that system is again operating system specific only. So the JRE which is installed in Windows should be Windows JRE only, and for Mac it should be Mac JRE only. For other operating system it should be JRE of that operating system only. Okay. Yes, JRE is dependent. That's what I told you, right? No language is platform independent. Actually, you have been installed that engine there. That engine is understandable your bytecode. Since the bytecode has been understood, it can execute. That means the bytecode which is generated by any of the JRE is a common bytecode across the suite, across the operating systems. Any of the operating system, irrespective of operating system, bytecode is commonly it has been generated. So using this technique, Java has been okay achieve this platform independence. Java platform independence, how it has been achieved, because everywhere JRE has been installed. JRE is specific. Your mobile also will have Android JRE. My computer will have Mac JRE, and your computer will have Windows JRE. Everywhere JRE is there, and JRE is a Java runtime environment, and that can understand bytecode. And any operating system will generate the bytecode, okay, in the same manner. Bytecode is not going to change. That is what it is. That's how it has been achieved. So this is how actually bytecode has been generated and platform independence. Why I'm telling you again and again, this is very important thing. So while you are understanding all these fundamentals only, you can easily understand the Java. Okay, how to compile and what you are doing, everything you should understand. Okay, that's what. So this is how uh, this platform independency has been achieved by Java. Okay, so that's what I told you. Even though if you see the Windows JRE, Mac JRE, everything what you are doing actually, you are actually installed specific to the operating system. Okay, you are not taken the JRE of Linux and installed in Windows. That is not going to work like that. So when you are installing your JDK or JRE, always you choose the operating system, because only the Windows JDK only execute in Windows, Mac JDK only execute in Mac, but only the bytecode, the program which has been generated by the compiler will execute anywhere. It will be a common for across the platform. So this is how the platform independency has been achieved by Java. Okay, what is the difference between bytecode and source code? A source code which you written in Java. Okay, so once you written in Java, you give it to the compiler. Compiler will compile it and give you one more code, which is bytecode. You cannot read that code. If you open that bytecode file, we cannot understand anything. So it's a compiled code. It has been translated and given to you. I'm going to show you that later. That is related to Java platform independency. Now today I'm going to show you the first Java program. So how to actually create a Java program, okay, and execute it. Fine. So for Java program, you have to install JDK. I already told you na how to check JDK in the previous session. So if I just open the command prompt and run Java and Java C or whatever in the bin folder also I told you, right? I shown you, right? All the exe file you can type, it will execute. There are so many exe files are there. They are the very important files I told you, right? Today we are going to see how we are going to use all those things. Okay. First, what you need to do is check whether Java successfully installed or not with this Java and Java C commands. If I just type Java, it will show you the options, and also Java C, it will show you the options. If it is showing options means you are ready to run your programs. Okay, first thing. Second thing, what you need to do, you just open one notepad file. Okay, just create a Java class. What we are creating here is a first Java program. Each and everything in Java is classes only. Each and everything in Java is classes and interfaces only. Okay, you just take it like this. Each and everything in Java is a class. Okay, so how to create a class is the first thing. Just write like this: public class, class name. Class name will be like my first class. Okay, so this is how you can create a class, and this is the syntax. Syntax means rules and regulations while we are following any of the programming language, which is called syntax. Okay, so if I wanted to create any Java class, I have to create like this. So public space class, both are small letters, and then what is your class name? Class name can be anything. It's up to you what is your class name. You can choose your class name. Always you need to understand class name will start with a capital letter. Okay, you can create any name, but generally capital letter will start with. Okay, flower bracket open and close. This is the syntax, and inside that I'm going to write a function, or we can call it as a method or a main method. Okay, public static void main string args. By default class is a default class, not public class. So, and this is the method have been created, and whatever I am going to write now, you have to by heart. You don't have to try to understand this, but you have to practice it. Okay, and come back. This is very important. Okay, you have to by heart this. You don't want to think about the meaning of these things and all. Please understand how I am just writing the code. That's it. Okay, so the method which I'm written here is public static void main, all small letters, and then string args, string array, and s is a capital letter here, and args here. Okay, so as it is you have to do it, and then inside I'm just going to write one output statement, which is system dot out dot println, and inside that hello world, whatever I wanted to display I can put it there, and semicolon. So this is the first program. Okay, so if you see here, this is the class name, public class, my first class, flower bracket open and close. Inside this flower bracket I am writing the method public static void main string args. Okay, and inside this method I'm writing a statement which is output statement. Okay, this is output statement. There are input statements, output statement, conditional statements, and loop statements. In the language, any of the computer language, generally there will be input statements, output statement, conditional statements, and loop statements. These four types of statements only we should learn. Okay, and going forward we're going to learn all these statements. Okay, currently what I'm going to put here is a simple output statement, which is system dot out dot println, and inside the quotation hello world, and s is a capital letter. Capital and small is very important because Java is a case sensitive language. Okay, fine. So once I have been done with my program, what I have to do? I have to save this file, okay, with the class name only. First statement, what you need to understand is we have to save the file always with the class name. What is my class name here? My first class, correct? So my first class is my class name. So I'm saving with the my first class only. So I'm choosing a particular folder. Okay. So here what I'm doing, I'm just keeping my first class is my file name. My class name should be my file name. First I have written my code. Now after that what I'm doing, I'm just saving this file with the class name. So what is my class name is my first class. And after that what I have to do, dot Java. You have to extension should be dot Java. You have to put dot Java. Okay. Class name dot Java. I'm saving it. So this is the thing what we need to do. The second step. So once you done with the save, then you have to compile your program. What you need to do? You have to compile your, because this is in high level language, object oriented programming what we written, right? High level language has to compile it. You have to give it to the compiler where it will translate, right? So how to do that, you just see. First you have to go to where you have actually saved this, actually in the E drive, Java demo. This is what your file, right? So this, see this my first class.java. So open your command prompt in this location. Okay, now I'm in Java demo, right? So what I have to do? I have to use Java C. Java C is a Java compiler. What is that? Java compiler. Java C is a compiler. Okay. So Java C space your class name, your file name, like my first class dot Java. This is what you have to do. So Java C space my first class dot Java. Enter. That's it. So once you do that, if any problems, any syntax errors, any errors are there, it will going to note down here. See that system does not exist. You are able to understand. Na? SYS is not there. So it's going to tell you like what is that, where is the problem. Everything it will going to show you. So you have to read while you are compiling. It will actually note down all your compilation errors, everything. Okay. So see that there is error. Why? What is the error here? Spelling mistake generally. System.out.println. I just type as SYTEM. SYSTEM is the system. Na? I just type SYTEM. That is the problem. You can go there and correct it. Save it again. Come back and do it again. Java C, my first class.java. Now you observe nothing has been shown. Did you observe here? So nothing has been, that means there is no error. If there is no error, then what you need to do? You go and check your folder. There is a dot class file has been generated. You're getting? So once the compilation is compiled successfully, Java compiler will create a dot class file. So this dot class file is platform independent. You can use this dot class file anywhere and run, irrespective of any of the operating system, it will execute. That is what is platform independent. Understood, right? So now how to run this dot class file? Using Java command, we run it. What is the command? Java command, not Java C command. Java C is a compiler. Java is a executor or interpreter. Interpreter will use here to execute generally. Okay. So using Java command, I have to put my class name again. My first class. Okay. Java space my first class. Not like dot class file. You don't have to give dot class or you don't have to give dot Java and all. You just give the class name. That's it. You're getting na Java space my first class. That's it. You see that hello world came here. So it has been executed and given you output. There is no statements right now. There is no statement. Statements means there is no instructions given apart from output statement. So whatever you given, that is what executed. So only output statement we have that has been executed. If there is a program, everything will execute. You understood, na? Any questions?
We can save our file with any name, na, sir.
Yeah, we can save our file with any name, but we should not actually save your file with any name. Always you have to save your file with your class name.
What is the main reason, sir? Just for reference, right?
See, generally you can save with any name, but once you compiled, right, it always give you this
Okay.
class name dot class file.
Okay.
So for example, just listen here. The question is, if I already told you that I have to save this my Java file with class name only, right? That is the best practice.
Okay.
But generally we can save with any name. For example, I'm saving with dummy.java. Okay, I've saved with dummy.java, but my class name is my first class. Correct. But I saved with dummy.java. Now I'm while I'm just see, I will delete this class file. Okay, I have my first class.java and dummy.java. Correct. I will delete this my class also. I have only dummy.java now. Right. What I'm doing now, I'm going to compile it now. Java C dummy.java. dummy.java. Right. So what happened? See that? It is going to it is actually throwing some error, right? My first class is a public, should be declared in a file named my first class.java. That means what? If it is a public class, the class is public class, right? If it is a public class, it has to be saved with that class name only. If it is another class, it might be a default class. I just remove the public, then it will become a default class. It is not now public class. Public, private, protected, all these things later I'm going to tell you. Just understand little bit, okay? So if I just compile, what is going to happen? Now it has been compiled, right? But you go and see what happened here.
Class name.
Class name has been given with class name which I given. The dot class file has been generated with the class name, not with the file name. The file name is dummy.java, but the class name is, that means
class
what?
Name itself.
That means what? While I'm executing now, I have to use class name only. Not dummy. Dummy won't work now here. So I have to use
class name.
You're getting? So there is a lot of confusion here. That's what generally best practice will go. If there is a class name, you save with the class name. That's it.
Okay, sir.
And also there are so many things generally. Okay. So there are so many questions also there. Can I able to, this is, and also the next best practice is each and every class name always create new file. You have to create your class name with a new file. You want a second class, you create a new file and put it there. Something like, I wanted to create one more class, I'll create a new file. There I will save it separately. Separate file for each and every class. Okay. There is a question again. Single file cannot be, can you able to create multiple classes in a single file? I have only one Java file I am having. Okay. Here itself, can I create one more class? You are getting, na? This is also question. This is also question. Okay. Can I create a multiple classes in a single file itself? Yes, we can create, but it should not be public classes. You can create multiple other than public classes, but in a file, always one public class, and that class name only the file name should be. That's it. You are getting, na? So like that, there are so many things are there. Going forward, we will going to learn whenever required. But best practice, I'm telling you, each and every class should be saved in a separate Java file only, and put that Java file with the class name only. That's it. Class name only. You have to use the name of the file should be the class name. My class name is my first class, means I have to put my file name should be my first class dot Java. And then while I'm compiling also, I'll use my first class dot Java only. Running also whatever the class generated with that. That's it. It will be best practice. Yeah, so we have so many technical things are there, like public, protected, private, default. These are the access specifiers. What are they? Access specifiers: public, protected, private, and default. I am going to tell you later point of time when we are discussing about object oriented topics. That time you will going to understand what is the access specifier and why it is important and how we can use them. All these things we cover in the later sessions. Okay, I'm going to stop this here. Why I'm told you here, because this is very important. We have to understand how to write a Java code, as well as how to compile it using JavaC command, how to run with the Java command. These three things are very important because this is connected with the previous class. Previous class, I told you bin folder is having so many exe files, and also we set path. Why I have been set the path, all these things. Now you should clarify, because I'm in a different folders. My Java file is somewhere else. I wanted to use Java command and JavaC command. Generally, Java command and JavaC command and all the commands are available in the bin folder of JDK. But I want to use in D drive, C drive, wherever I save my file, right? So in that case, the only way is I set the path for the exe files everywhere I can use it. You understood, na? This is interconnected, the previous session, and this is very important. You have to learn the syntax. You have to read and learn the syntax for now. And how to learn means you write the same program in your computer and try to issue the command Java C and see whether everything is working fine or not. This is the only way you can practice. You create multiple classes. Okay, don't just create one and leave it. Create different classes and try. Just change these sentences and try whether the sentence is printing or not. Okay, that will give you the best practice. That is the best practice generally. Okay.